kind of. But Wednesday the 30th, I'm doing 3 sessions, 1 hour each on advanced harmonic pattern collection strategies. That's available if you are a paying gold member or a current owner of harmonic pattern collection software, the Lite or Pro, either one. If you have questions, now is the time to contact me. I'm not going out of my way to market this at all. I really don't care if you show up. I really don't care if anyone shows up because I know that in the end, this will eventually be watched by many more people in recordings than it will live. But I'm going to be unveiling new stuff and unveiling a whole lot of ideas that put together the entire framework in a way that I don't think I've done. Even since that January class. So if you guys can make it, you'll get that information. It's on the gold members page. You will be emailed, and there will be one promo. But you guys know where to get this stuff. I don't need to chase you down. We've got plenty. We're doing well with the subscribers. A lot of people are subscribing and getting the software. Why? Because it's working. So I'm not going to sit there like some other warrior tradering people doing stupid commercials and trying to, chase down people. I don't think that is necessary. Let's get to some charts and some big ass patterns because I think there's a lot of opportunities again now that we've kind of been able to move past crypto, at least for now, and let it go. That's my plan for a while. I hope it comes back, and I hope it does a major rally of some sort. But I am all but done for a while on crypto, folks. And we have things like this that natural gas is a sleeper of a market I've been talking about since the beginning of the year. Gold members know this, and they also know that in the last few weeks, we've finally seen the big move off of all of the patterns we identified way back here in the 20 to 22 level. Perfect confirmation, everything you want to see. Now we go and hit these targets to 36 to 42 minimum. Yep, you can access the course. If you join the gold membership, you get the course. And you get the lease on the software, but you don't own it. So that's the thing. I think it's the better of the two options. But again, at this point, what you get with the seminar, if you buy Harmonic Pattern Collection Lite, you get 3 months of gold and you get the seminars. So it's, I just think you guys need the tools. I don't care what methodology you use, whatever, if it's XYZ methodology, go get XYZ software created by XYZ. Because you need a methodology in these markets and an something automated generating signals, levels, because that's what the pros are doing, and they're doing it automatically. Where if you're not at that point in your trading plan and trading strategy, you're going to have a really tough time being consistently, majorly successful. So, and if you haven't tried it, we give free trials first. So again, it is really important that you take the free trial and sign up for all of the free resources first and study, because by the time you're finished with that, and I discussed that last week, I showed the new videos and where to get everything. But absolutely want to exhaust the free resources so that if you're new, you've got, you don't need to spend a dime to learn everything you need to know to then get started. So dial it back, go to Harmonic Trader, and when you get there, you go to basic members page for if you're totally new and you're not even signed up. And then for gold members, okay, go to the gold member section and check out all the info and especially the library. Here's the course. So again, really critical to get with all that stuff if you have not, but you need the software first. So that's everything we're doing is off the software. Even if you want to draw by hand, you're going to learn more quickly with the software what is truly harmonic. So this is Boyle. Let's dial it back to natural gas and where, since this is such a big day, this is really the acceleration party up to the hop. Remember, 356 is the first move of this retest, targeting hop on the daily, but on the weekly, this is natural gas continuous. Okay, once we clear out of these lower levels, we have nothing until absolute retest of the prior swing, or more like you start reaching back several years. That this is on the verge of becoming another new cycle push for a full minimum cycle up to 450 or $5 already, only at still 350. Larger consequences, and the long-term chart show you that this thing, you know, has been in a long-term downtrend. If inflation and crude oil and energy and everything is coming back, which it is, there it is on your, okay, that's a long-term downtrend trying to get every peak of the last 16 years into it. Maybe we can even stretch it out a little bit so we make it more conservative. But, I think that's fairly clear. No doubt about the fact that this deep crab on the monthly, look at that, exactly at the 1618. Once that registered on the long-term chart, see you later. Go straight to target 2. We never got a full retest for a type 2 retest, but most of the dynamics were there to then say this whole area is at play. If we get some kind of crazy crisis, I will stair step these pattern structures with the larger targets at 724, 1050, and then the full retest. That's why I know it's been weird for a lot of people asking me, why am I talking about this thing, this Boyle thing? And why was it 36,000 a share at one time? Okay, it's a 2x ETF. All right, it moves when the price moves up. And if it moves sideways, it doesn't move. It moves sideways to down because it needs to move up. Now, there's a lot of shenanigans done with this vehicle to hedge other gas bets. Doesn't trade more than 250,000, 300,000 shares. That's maybe one drawback, and I'm going to talk about an alternative in a minute. But this has everything that we were looking for, a while back when we were catching the AMCs and the the MROs and other petro stuff, with all of these patterns of the daily here and down at that 20 level stuff where it just kept on holding the hop. Now we're breaking out with some degree of acceleration. I think you can easily target 36 on this move, and we'll take it from there. But if this is the end all be all of getting out of this whole pit hole, it's because, hold on one second. This is just really not good. You know what? Hold on. Tough day, guys. So this thing had a crazy run back in 2019, and I remember it clearly because I watched it. I have some friends that are in the industry, and there was a crisis, a collapse, and that's what I think is going to happen here. Natural gas is one of the most heavily shorted uh, markets, period, and has been, talk about manipulated and repressed. This thing is so wound up that a move like this to spring and back down is not crazy. Now there's all these patterns you can't see. If I just really highlight, we're breaking in down to these lows that major patterns somewhere in the 60 area, hop at 37, and then okay, looks terrible, ugly, but finally forms a couple more patterns that this thing is, doesn't look like it's going to crack under 18, and that would pretty much be your violation low that it'd be going to zero, I guess, but that's not what's going on, and you're in a cyclical rebound where nothing they can do about it. This thing's going to bounce 36, $40 on this current move. And I'll go to the other one that's probably a better vehicle is the UNG ETF. Now, Boyle, I'll just say it right now. I'm looking for those higher levels at 36 or 40, and then we'll take it from there if something crazy unfolds. You'll see it in the spot price of natural gas. And if natural gas gets over $4 soon, I think we could see something. It goes from like 30 to maybe 120. UNG, same thing, not done anything for a long time. Check this out. Terrible chart. Look at that chart. Okay, was 2000 on the split adjust. Now forms, look, a big, deep crab, regular crab. Now your hop is at minus 29 cents. How is that going to play out? Well, obviously it's not going to get tested or it'd go bankrupt. But I would look at this like this. There's your first opportunity. Comes back up, nothing. Comes back to all the way down to retest. All right, maybe I'm looking in here. And another bump and roll over. Okay, that's two fails. Now it does this thing all the way down. So we get some triggers in here and a whole lot of basing action with the spot price of natural gas finally coming to life. In a crazy scenario, there's, look for a retest into the zone, 23, 27 area from 12 with an eventual target one possibility at 56. That's how to look at this thing. Is it going to be slow? It might not fully work. It might only go to 20 and roll over, and we'll deal with that when we get there. But I think there's a real nice upside, low risk opportunity once we break out of this consolidation. You've got a Gartley getting drawn at the moment that's potential, but hasn't fully completed yet. So we'll look maybe as high as 1338 on this move. But nat gas is like the others. Where is it? There's crude oil. And here we go. Just continue new highs. New highs 7407, 4-hour chart, finishing the week. And here's the other thing. We talked about this big ABCD pattern on the 4-hour chart. You're back in there. We never got a type 1. We did not come down all the way to target 1. So that's just a little bit of a reaction. And that matters. I'll talk about that on Wednesday of why that's so important. Because now we're going to handle this thing completely differently than if it hit target 1. This is still type 1 reaction um, coming back into the zone for another type 1 reaction and maybe as high as the hop level, still targeting back to go down to 1. This case, we want confirmation. And that's how we're going to know whether this thing works or not. Because if it's going to fail, it's because there's going to be not any confirmation and it'll probably blast right through. You see that in HSI. Stuff is just continues to be strong. Crude oil in the last week came up. It got overbought on amplified RSI with an M formation. What does that mean? Temporary reaction. That would need some consolidation and then a retest before I even consider it to be a signal. And that's something really to take note of because once you break out of that downtrend, your whole return, the complex return, again, another strategy we will talk about Wednesday, this complex phenomenon, the fact that it has to go back. It has to go back and retest the indicator. Same way where standard RSI is doing a move back to the overbought. And in that, we go back to the hop. You still go at least 50 cents, 70 cents higher or more into next week and beyond that. I mean, if we break out beyond that, blow it out, we'll see. I think maybe more consolidation after you hit there, but no doubt, look, monthly chart on all of this, notwithstanding that stupid move, really, that thing was that contango, super negative contango thing. Go to December contract. There you go. And I think even on that contract, it's 82 was the 886. Also, just to from nowhere else, just to kind of highlight all the way back here from early 2000s when oil topped out at 147, 150, call it right about there. I forget if it was '04. What a time. Talk about nonsense. So when that happened, your all-time retracement, that's the way you got to think about it, of how does this relate to the rest of the all-time history? Brings us back. Really want to line this up with minimum retracements of an all-time 382 at about 36. Sorry, 76. That's off the all-time range. So, and that does not account for the negative futures, continuous futures contract. I just would prefer not to do it that way because I think you can't really, you start to lose some harmonic properties, if you will, if you include that negative at price action on the continuous. I've looked at it and it's interesting, but I think in terms of looking for liquidity and true levels, stick with the real futures contracts, the December, the Junes. You'll get better data. And this still points to about 80 bucks, which is what I was saying most of earlier this week. Again, a lot going on here of major scenarios shaping up that are maybe surprising people, but shouldn't be. We've got a bunch of things where even like, look at something like off this January contract where a 1618 off the contract is right at 124, 125. These are ways that we can look and anticipate within the larger framework for what are pattern possibilities based on just understanding of what indicators should be doing at the measurements, as well as the structural type. These monthly readings, they're all expanding. I mean, take a look at just even the last 6 months, just remarkable expansion. What did I do with that? That was HSI. Take that off. Okay. So a whole lot of opportunities in that space, and I wouldn't even be surprised to see major oil companies like ExxonMobil here. Take a look at ExxonMobil. Slowly loading. Busy, right? Real busy. Here's ExxonMobil again, trading on 64. Nothing stopping this thing. I talked about this, some big patterns are around 40. I think you want to look at this thing just challenging the all-time high eventually. go back to about 96. These are, you want to talk about moonshots. These are some real moonshots where in the stock market, sorry, it's only 30% move. Sorry, crypto. I know you guys lost that last week or yesterday, and then gained half of it back in the afternoon. I'm talking about things that aren't gonna, get a rug pull. And that's also something I just want to share with everybody because it just seeing too many rug pulls in crypto recently. The Iron Mountain Finance coin thing, that was a week ago. There was something else just a few days ago. There was a big Ethereum hack. I'm just saying, folks, and I will do a quick peek at crypto. I just want to show things I'm looking at that I think will really work without these extraneous concerns. Like we do our technical work and we do our analysis and line up our levels, um, stay within that framework. We're not going to get some stupid billionaire tweet who's able to push your coin 20% overnight and screw up your whole structure to where your analysis is no longer valid. So, I mean, that's just personal sentiment, and especially the way things have been shaping up recently in price action with crypto. I am more focused on these phenomenon going on in the financial markets that I think, real opportunities and large opportunities where big dynamics coming at work of supply and demand getting crunched. Things like natural gas finally getting a major short squeeze because they're just have underpriced this thing for so long. One or two more. Here's another one that is really working quite well, and I'll jump over there. I'll jump over to crypto in a minute. I just want to finish up on the large situation that happened this week in NASDAQ. Most of the gold members know. But here's Macy's, folks, and we've been, as I've said, squeezed within this really tight flag pennant, trying to bust out where the weekly and monthly levels, I think monthly is a better chart. Again, just major frameworks. And let me just let's look at the bullish pattern. And highlight the shark. Yeah, so we are focused on the shark, and again, looking for the breakout. This will happen next week. This is a big one. Just another one that I will talk about of all of the elements of a type 1 reversal, and this being on a monthly, long term, and then how we recognize the end of the type 1 with a full type 2 return, and then finally type 2 reversal. What do we expect here? We'll go into those details, but for Macy's, I'm not saying tomorrow, I'm not saying next month, I'm saying as a longer term play here, look at it into next year at some point, maybe go leap on it, leap options, whatever, but target 2 for us is 43 bucks. And just think, this is a new cyclical bump. If it's a 6-8 month cycle or a 3-4 year cycle, this thing is coming off of really fine, real fine levels. Nice shark pattern, hammered in support, decade-long support. Looking back for target 2. In the same way here at Hop, we're looking at target 1, Hop to target 2 because it's the retest. A lot of that happening. One or two more. Yeah, dollar yen, sure. Perfect segue for that kind of level. We looked at that a few weeks ago. So really quick on a couple currency pairs. Remember the shark? Bearish shark. There's a bearish ABCD right now, but take a look at how harmonic this thing is. First, go way back. big bullish shark. You've got a few patterns on top of this thing, but down around 104. And now let's just highlight, take away, and show this bearish shark right there at the hop level. 110.86 has been a big number for us for a while. The other thing is we have a couple of HSI signals that we mentioned way back when. Let me see if I can get the arrows in there. This is harmonic pattern collection for e-signal, and we've got this for MetaTrader, Sierra charts, NinjaTrader, TradingView with the new upgrade next week. So that's the other thing. If you come to the seminar, if you buy, purchase, we will have the upgrade by next week of TradingView. That will be my presentation next Friday here on YouTube, the new TradingView with the scanner. So it'll be really great. There's dollar yen, and folks, scratching a whole bunch of levels right here at 111 and change. The exact number we have is 110.87. And we looked at that a while ago. We also said because of HSI right there that materialized, I guess it was back in May we looked at that. Said look for a retest, and now let's get another HSI, which is almost there. This indicator is harmonic strength index. One or two more. Here's one that I spoke about to gold members. I think it's a larger, I mentioned this about, I think, the dollar in general. Okay, here's Brazilian real. This is one of a few where broke down under 5. This is major for a major symbol and sign for so many developing economies. Let me say it that way. Now, where's that? There you go. So I've been looking at this as a major 1, 2. This was the pattern I was trying to show folks yesterday. Now we're all the way down. We're breaking down in a major way. That's a huge development. We also see this in Mexican peso. Again, this is some new stuff I'm throwing at people where you want to get this on your radar though. Okay. Mexican peso, look at that crab pattern up around 21. And I know on the weekly there's some major patterns up here. Yep. Crab pattern. Whole lot of stuff where that thing is finally look at the history. What's going on with the dollar? These and this is all oil. This is what I want everyone to understand. This is a side effect of oil. And you want to absolutely be aware of this. Take a look at the Mexican peso. Under 20 is a massive, I think, massive psychological level. I think if this broke under much under 19, forget about it. You go back to 14 or 12 even. So there's just so many things here in these kind of currencies. I could go through other currencies. And again, I just find this um, super interesting. One of these kind of unknown opportunities, just like Boyle, where you're talking many times your money. I think the other one we looked at was one of the ADRs was Petrobras. We saw that thing really starting to break out here. You know, $60, $70 all-time high, comes all the way back down, starting to break out. This thing get above this hop at 1260, you know, you really start breaking above. I mentioned that in the gold members session, and I'm going to start bringing up more of those opportunities to members because I think those are places to be looking. I'll take a look at Neo. I think I missed your Neo last time from yesterday. Also, cars. Okay, yeah, that oil, cars, electric cars. Okay, Tesla did a pop. We know about Tesla, right? Everybody knows about on harmonic pattern collection, knows about Tesla. Tesla's a massive type 2. Go over here on the 4 hour really quick, and then I'll go to your Neo. Okay, massive bat pattern coming off. Now we're in the midst of this Gartley. So Tesla, bring it on back down. At some point, if it takes through some consolidation or can get a nice little drop back to 580, as low as maybe even 525, that would be your trigger. That would be your 2 of 2 on Tesla. Could happen later this summer. You know, you had a few things up in this level too where long term Tesla is setting up. I would look for that ditch back down because check out that. Look, I mean that's like a crypto, but that's a crypto that you know is going to hold and continue higher. That's Bitcoin at 30,000 before it went to 60. Otherwise, all these cryptos tried to do that, and then what they do, they completely collapsed. This is holding, and again, I think it is giving you Tesla is giving you a real nice pattern there. And even look at the Gartley that preceded this way back when, all automatically generated back at 30. And take a look, folks, on Wednesday. I cannot stress it enough. I'm going to show you things you never saw before, and I'll explain why. These type 1, type 2, and eventual retests will, if you know what to look for, then you're not waiting around. And a lot of people are trying to anticipate, like, hey, I want to try to capture this move into the D point. So maybe I'll try to buy here at C, or I'm trying to learn the patterns because then I want to play it into the pattern. And I'm just like, why? I mean, you might get back-to-back patterns where that's really clear to see, but I'm trying to tell everybody, listen, as soon as the terminal bar ring sun starts, okay, your whole trading process is like bang, bang, bang. There's 2, 3 things to be looking for and executing on, and you're done. And your goal is target one. And it's amazing because there's a thing about trading in general that almost seems counterintuitive to precision, and I really want to enforce that. Where if in any position, if you're there staring at the opportunity, you have to know where how much is at stake. Like if I'm at the craps table and I'm gonna go there with a couple $1,000 and I am up 20, 30,000 bucks, I think it's time for me to quit. Same principle. Ari, I don't know what's going. Oh, Ari's saying no worries on look. Don't just let's keep the words clean. But Ari, I see your comment, and I bet it's your broker. Let me address that towards the second, and I will help you guys. Listen, if you have an issue and you can't get it straightened out, we have people to help. Just give it a second. Just give me a day or two. It might take me a day to get back to you, but I will follow up for sure. So Ari, for sure. Um, why use so many indicators? Okay, fair question. So really the indicators that we're using is primarily just harmonic strength index and the patterns. Why? The patterns give us the levels and the indicators tell us pretty much what bar at the level. That's how we read it. And we also can uh, infer some really clear conditions about the price action with the indicators. So the patterns, the starting point, and we can really glean at least 2 or 3 opportunities, the reaction, like there, the return trade, and then the reversal trade. That's what Wednesday, the seminar is all about. to understand that this is the natural unfolding of harmonic patterns. And once you work with the software, and that's why I'm blah, blah, blah about the software because it's all built in. I will be further automating this, and I think I've got it figured out of exactly to highlight the type 1 and type 2 phases pretty clearly. And again, I think I bring that into it, it'll be even clearer. But everyone knows, and if I show you the 1, 2, 3 at each point, okay, for everyone, I think you're not only going to be learning a lot more, it's going to be kind of a game over. The Tesla did work on the beauty, like a beauty there, um, on this way back when, but not let's that's going back 2 years ago. Let's look at right now, Tesla. Where's the opportunity in Tesla? All right, Tesla's coming off right now. As I said, a couple of critical patterns. Right now, you have a bat pattern that formed in this consolidation, and it's even difficult to see because it's overlaying so much, but there's also a crab pattern, all of that at around 695. And you guys can remember this, hold me to this. Okay, we'll see and come back in a week. Tesla going down to a target 1, type 1 reaction. Now, it's a tough situation because there's your confirmation, and you didn't get a full check back. So for me personally, I probably am not in that trade yet. I would want to see the physical retest. The thing also, there's a few things I would look for on the initial test that I will discuss Wednesday in the seminar. Like it hits the terminal bar, it has to form this terminal bar and close. So the bar closes there. So officially, we register the pattern completion there. Well, I'm not executing there, even though that's the perfect XA. So we're at this point. What do we do? That's Wednesday. That's all day Wednesday. We're there. What do we do? And what do we do for the next 30 or 90 bars, even? Really critical. Tesla, look for that type 1 reaction. Either way, down to 640. We'll talk about it next week. EEM, I'll finish up on that one in terms of these because of the international angle, and that is where I'm looking for opportunities more so or major movement going forward. You have to bring it back out and look at, say, daily, weekly, start there. On the EEM, look at this HSI arrow at around 52, 53 gives you a nice continuation. Yeah, okay, 30 bar rule. There's a question. What about the 30 bar rule? Well, 30 bar rule is essentially any trigger or pattern completion. Tell me what's happening in the first 30 bars after the fact. And you better be doing something in that area. So, with that, I'll jump over to Bitcoin and talk about something that's not doing anything in the 30 bar rule. Don't like it. It's not what I want to see. We did get a secondary retest, but we go to the 30 bar rule on the daily. Okay. Here was the crash low back in May. I talked about this exactly 2 weeks ago and really been highlighting this in recent days. There's our 30 bars. Okay, just last week, 18th, 19th, +1, +2. Now we're about +5 from the crash point. We've done nothing, go sideways but down. If this was a bull market, and so let me do back up because to preface that 30 bar rule, what's my assessment beforehand? Well, we're in a bull market. It's a very strong bullish narrative. There's another $5 billion of Michael Saylor money coming in. There's El Salvador. There's all the people that they're going to get a $30 airdrop. Big money. Well, that's the crash, and that's the retest, retracement, and we're still going to go up. Don't you think that should be higher than 30 bars from now? I do. That's the kind of thing I look at it. That's kind of what I feel about Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, depending on the feed, that's the perpetual contract by bit. There's forex.com. Again, it kind of annoys me we can't get a real consistent image because of the, depending on, each feed is a slightly different high low, different close time. Um, you have to go with the bigger ones. So Binance, we've got a 1-2 versus Tether on Binance, although who knows what's up with Tether. We've got 1-2. So even on daily, I would say we're checking back. That's just a primary function of HSI. I don't like the fact that we still have yet another, there's the first, and that's another lower HSI. When we were trending up, higher HSI, higher, even that was higher. You had 4 in a row. You had actually more than that. These are some things, again, I'll be bringing out on Wednesday. But that was the breakdown point of 49,000. Between UNG and Boyle, which one should you pick? My safer bet is the UNG because it's not going to be as volatile as Boyle. And I think that, Boyle's more speculative. What should the price by theory should do in the 30 bar rule? Okay, where does the theory come, or am I just making 30 bars out of my butt? And I think you guys know me a little bit better than that. 30 bar rule is all about the central limit theorem. What's that? That was all way back from like ninth grade biology class. And the real whole basis of that is that anything you're looking at least the way I look at it, any data point, any chart, if we're looking at individual price bars, we're looking at sets of data. And so I want to treat each group of data to make an assessment of what's the larger action as my sample size, as my sample size needs to be 30 minimum. If I was studying bacterium, if I was studying, oh, I don't know, plants, test subjects, a vaccine, I'd want at least 30 people. But that's due to just realizing and looking to get normal results. That's all that is. Central limit theorem is 30 is the number, and more than 30 is great. It's better. But, if you have at least 30, your sample size is sufficient where you will not get varied, skewed results. You get usually a normal distribution of what the total picture should be. And that's how I look at patterns. I think patterns are just big distribution curves. Yeah, actually, and so Prodigy Defender, yeah, you're saying, and you're getting into something exactly right. So here's a 30-week Binance BTC. If we know what a head and shoulders looks like, which this is, we would say 30 bars. And this is really what, it's kind of like that. Didn't come all the way up, but that's pretty much your head and shoulders. And you go to this, and if I was to do a distribution curve, I don't know if they've got, maybe they do. Do they have a bell-shaped curve here? I know they've got the sine curves. There's the head and shoulders. I mean, this is yeah, and that's just a bell-shaped distribution curve, folks. That's all that is of distributed money that will have on your left and right constraints, you'll have, a 10 and a 90. So what you'll have is 10% on this end, 10% on that end. That's the residual you'll be left with. This is perfect on Dogecoin. And Dogecoin has bounced, but quite frankly, I don't want to trade a penny stock that's got nothing behind it. That's my difference on Doge too. And again, I really um, grateful to a good friend of mine. I'm grateful to the community who, we really got into this whole run. And boy, it was a lot of fun. And again, I think I would have given up on this at 6 cents or maybe 12 cents, but it was real harmonic. And this was the thing that really set me off. Look at the couple of these patterns, folks. That these were some of the patterns that really got me, that I caught on big numbers. And there was another one down here. Again, I probably should do a whole video on that and show you what I made on each. I think that would be great. And it was a joke. I mean, the whole thing was through Robinhood. I didn't even, never intended in my whole life, and just wanted to check that out and ended up just trading Doge on Robinhood in the most ugly, sloppy way, but just trading the patterns, like setting limits, getting picked up, and that pattern, and this one on Doge. Okay. And so this is all speculative in that speculative craziness. And so that what was fueling my interest versus now. Now it's we've had a couple the bumps and rolls where we have major lower highs and big drawdowns. I mean, big drops, we've seen those, but these are lower and lower high and lower high. And then soon this is just going to drop. And I think you go to the hop at 7.3 and then you just get into a swamp of just nothingness. And no Elon will help him. Elon will not help this. Elon killed this. And I think in the end, a lot of people are going to get real hurt. So that's my message on Doge. Even here, I will target the hop on Doge as a minimum spot, and this will just end up being a big overall distribution curve. Probably like a 30-month would be a good one to look at. And we'll look back at this and we'll say, boy, we should have got out at X, Y, or Z. Why wouldn't people get out all the way up there? Again, I should do a whole walkthrough on this, on all of the content that was produced about this, almost like a play-by-play for, it was like 90 or 100 days of craziness. And now you look at that from a monthly basis. Well, come on, it would not be anything to come all the way back down and then go sideways for 5 years until Elon gets to Mars. Do I see BTC at 13,000? I sure do. I see BTC at 11,300, and I'm not going to back away from that. No, I will say that with one caveat, and this is my one out. If my software generates a big fat daily pattern, much like it did on these, on has to be daily, weekly. I would think more like weekly, but I need to see patterns like this, folks. And it's going to be a long time. It's something. It's a big dilemma we all face as traders. And one of the best lessons I learned from Mark Douglas was that traders have this thing where they want to trade, but the market's not ready to be traded. And this is the case where this market is not ready to be traded. It's not ready to be bought. It's not ready to be accumulated, dollar cost averaged, or anything until there's some more constructive signs that exhibit what's going on than to risk the drawdown. And I would, if we came and did this for the next year, off a big 618, and I would hope it almost rallies from here. That's a little too deep right there, almost a bat, but I hope it comes up and then down for the big 886 like that. You you bet I'll be buying at 10,500, 11,300, something like that. That is absolutely the kind of the thought behind it, and it occurred twice here. And I think we had something else here. I have to really dig into the data. But that major, these are auto-generated patterns, and these are true harmonic levels. This was a two of two. This is one other thing I'm not why I wouldn't be crazy on something happening here that brings it back down. Is there's one of two. I know it's all the way at 30,000, but dang it, if we the best thing for this thing right now is to go to the 886 and then start another bigger cycle that gets and does another 1618 from there. That's really what should happen. And over the next 3, 4 years, give me a 1618 that then gets you up to 130, 150,000, and you have about 30 countries. So that's my thought. It's got to be Bitcoin, and if it's Bitcoin's not happening, the rest are not happening. It's not worth it. There's too many other things to be invested in as well that are going to be, got some real assets and business behind them. It's just not worth the risk. Here's the Doge thing one last time. Again, with everything I mentioned, the 886 on that is it's 8 cents. The on the weekly, and that would be a minimum. I think Doge is 100% correction or a 95% correction goes back to 4 cents. And our again the big look at the patterns that worked out for Doge, but I will show everybody something, and we will talk about this in the seminar on Wednesday. This is one of the most dangerous bullish positions Doge could be in, period. It's a type 1 reaction within an uncompleted type 2. There's the type 1 that worked out. We came all the way back here, okay, for a type 2, all the way back down with HSI, but we have a counter HSI against this type 1 move. That all of that has to demand a retest or an HSI. That's a dangerous position. And look where it is. There's a lot of things here of why this is probably a great bearish resistance point for a move back to 10 cents. 27 down to 10 cents, that's a major move rollover. You show a 555 for the C leg, why not an 886 for the C leg? It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to the B it's the D point that needs to be an 886. The trade about your 1,000 pip spike on Owanda last Sunday, I'll look at it. I don't know. I have Owanda, but I find it hard to believe that Owanda is a pretty good brokerage. They would have a bad spike like that really quick. And let me finish this up. Nasdaq's check this out. S&P's plus 12. Nasdaq's plus 17. I wanted to finish up on Nasdaq. We've been going a while. Gone an hour. This is our Friday thing. I'm gearing this up to do something more produced later this year. Just to let you know. But my goal is to get everybody on the software. And I think those that are on the software are extremely happy and have changed their trading game. I probably, you know what, if there's some people here like Scotty and uh, Jason and some of the other guys, Maybe I need to get a couple of you guys talking about what it's done for you. Because I'm trying to show, and Wednesday we're going to show the super advanced stuff. So, okay, they refunded you the trades. Listen, if you're getting bad ticks, a lot of FX brokers are not real good. I mean, they've got in-house data programs. Our harmonic pattern collection won't work with those really garbage MLM style brokerages, but stick with the big ones, Owanda, FXCM, Forex.com, and have like two. Have two. You don't need to have everything in one account in one place. It's probably more secure in these days. I've got several accounts. It's a pain in the ass come tax time. But I mean, I have things spread out, spread out. Even I learned it. One of the things I learned at the crypto conference is that you can have way too much money in one crypto place, and it's not a lot of money, and not be secure as you think. Is there a bundle special for TV and MetaTrader? Absolutely. If you want to buy both, we basically we package them together for the price of the Pro, so you get that and two licenses. So send me an email at harmonictrader@gmail to set up. Really quick though, again, if you have not tried it for free, try for free. TradingView and MT4. I'll let you try all of them. My partner will kill me, but I'll let you try all five of them if you want to get the right thing that you need. Because once you get the software that you like, that you work with, you've got the signaling, you've got the scanning. TradingView will have it, like this scanner. I'm going to bring that out next week. I couldn't get it out this week, but we'll have the release next week. So here's New Zealand dollar with just a nice ABCD here on a Friday afternoon. Looking for some things. I would be looking for things for not only next week, but to go into July summer mode. And absolutely look at where we are within the framework of these patterns going over the past, oh, I don't know, 2 months, 3 months. That's a pretty nice breakdown off of that crab pattern in Kiwi dollar. Look at the daily, though. Again, a lot of the longer term is just big levels getting clipped. Look at that big ABCD that got retested. This ABCD from back here at 75.80 or 73.82 got clipped, and that was a type 2. So I would look for this to continue to fall over. I mean, 67. What about Aussie? Man, they all did this looping type 2. This is the real thing that I see so much, and several of the positions that I'm talking about right now are doing this thing where they make a big move down, and then they come back and kind of retouch the level and react off of it. That's Aussie dollar. If you go to the monthly, go to the weekly. Yep. Here I do think if we get a commodity run, there's a lot of patterns like this where we could get this looping retest. So I'm looking at things like Aussie dollar for opportunities on this pullback. The dollar weakness or the dollar strength recently is, let's look at dollar index. This is going to be a bounce and roll, in my opinion. Here's the 4 hour. And we talked about this last week in the gold member sessions. We're just coming right off of this target one. We've been squeezed between a weekly deep crab pattern, so essentially 99, 13, 14 up to 100 is your resistance. And look, target one, just holding in at 90, 90 to 100. And what are the triggers in between? Well, just look for your next trigger. Look for your next indicator trigger. This is why we use the indicator triggers. One, We need a trigger of some sort to give us a bias extreme, a temporary relative extreme of moving from one side to the other. We're looking for a retest back up to this overbought level. I can't get that written on there. And look at my stuff on relative strength. That's why we utilize it. Just a simple theory behind the confirmation. Please read that. How do you try it for free? I'm going to stick really quick to here. Folks, everything that you need to get a hold of is on harmonictrader.com. So if you're totally new, please, and I'm going to run through this 1 second because I know when these questions come in and I don't answer them, then I leave people hanging. So you go to harmonictrader.com and you do the basic sign up, and you just need an email. Put in your email and go to the basic members page once you're logged in. And the basic members is where all of the information and the free material starts. I will be actually uploading. I have the foreign language translations, and I'm going to reach out to anybody that can help me with Spanish, Portuguese, Arabic, and Polish. I have them. They're already done. So we're going to be adding that foreign language section into here for people to grab onto that. I've got all 3 books in Spanish. So stuff like that, if you want them, request it. I probably can get it to you. But everything here is free, and the 4 books is like ridiculous to keep you busy for a month. But after 2 weeks, go get the free trial to one or many of my programs. And so why am I doing all of this? Because what I'm trying to do here is show everybody not only the dynamics of the harmonic patterns I've created 25 years ago, but how to make it successfully. And the tools you need are everything we've installed in Harmonic Pattern Collection. But the reason why I make it free is to kind of prove the fact that one, the basic information should be free, but for anybody selling anything in the markets, right? Why sell for education if you're really doing it? All right. And for me as a business, the software is the business because that's really the real work is and has been. It's a lot of work to do that software. But I think we've got the best platform, bar none, of defining levels, understanding how to take advantage of it with accuracy that doesn't come close to anything on the market. And I think you'll see that, and that's why we do it for free. Is most people come away from it, if they're willing to do the work, they realize this one thing, and then they are willing to apply it to capitalize on their entire trading plan. Who cares? Yeah, I'm not responding to trolls today. Sorry. Awesome. Youssef, contact me. I do have your email. But that's great. I appreciate it. BTC, ugh. Yeah, man. I hear it. But listen, let me block this guy because I'm not responding today. I'm not getting you're not getting a breath from me. So later, who cares? Because who cares about who cares? So let's wrap it up because I do want to get to the most important market that triggered yesterday as the Nasdaq, which hit our 365 target. 14,365 is the target two. It's the hop level of the deep crab. That is the secondary test of the whole structure of the whole 1618 formation that started. Go back. Let me clean this up. We're going back to October. That's a big help. Within the type 1, type 2 scenario framework, okay? Went over this week, been tracing this out for the better part of the last couple of months that we know that was our type 1 and our type 2 First shot was here. Came up, perfect HSI check back. It didn't hit the hop. We were thinking it might, didn't get there, but it was just a reaction down. And we really started noting that on the trend line break. We started getting back up into the zone, and it looked like, all right, more time. Type 2s take time like that. They take more time. And so we can look for a secondary trigger, which we're about to get because here, harmonic strength index and HSI's the double retest giving you a little divergence with amplified. That's our other. We could use RSI, relative strength index, and you're real close on triggering relative strength index. A lot of things from relative strength index are inherently built within these indicators. So they're agreeing. And I'm looking at this 14365 on NQ for that trigger. Maybe chop a little arrow up there come Monday, and we'll see for that. How far will that go? Within the whole framework of this pattern, okay, that's everything we have waited for, and I would expect at least a pause once we get those arrows. Wouldn't be surprised to at least see something like this from the last two. Look, the last two, one, two, and then maybe one more with our eventual target. And I will say it now that a correction gets us to 11,780. So we're coming into July, August, September, October. You think somewhere within the next 10, 12 weeks we could have a type 2 realization? Possibly. That's the kind of thing of when we're lined up like this, we want to pay attention. And I know it's there are some screaming markets, but this structurally yesterday it hit. Today is the first day we really look at it. Tomorrow or Monday is probably when we will confirm it with HSI. Does the pink triangle kick in when the target is first hit? Great question. The pink triangle is related to this indicator. So the hop level, HOP, harmonic optimal price, is not related to the indicator. The pink arrow will trigger when we come out of the extreme and the bar closes. So we started looking at this just a couple days ago because we saw the first signal in a while back here. This is our secondary shot. And do know that we're usually taking two shots on most opportunities. If it's a reaction shot, great. But our type 2 shots are usually have a little bit more behind them. I don't know why I can't draw on that. But this will come out, and that's why I'm saying probably Monday this will come out. And so we're still early in that process. But hitting the hop was an important objective that is now sets us in play, and look at what's going on. Look, we hit the hop level. That's an overlay here. Okay, it's a deep crab, so we're utilizing our 2.0 because it's a deep crab, and that's the hop level for the deep, and we are hitting there. Terminal bar was here, and we're stalling. So that is absolutely what we want to look for. Again, it's going to take a couple of days, but we start looking, say, Monday. That's why we need to kind of get into that whole perspective of starting to anticipate these coming together and triggering while looking for other areas of the market that are seem to be popping and coming to life. Natural gas and commodities in general are just starting to scream. I think we will get something in gold, but gold probably needs that deeper retest. So we're in a transitory time, and coming into summer, it's going to get a little quiet. But I would be looking for those other opportunities while crypto consolidates out. I mean, just crypto is going to have to do its thing for a while to reconstruct before for me, I'd be looking for massive gains again. So that is what I wanted to get through. Wednesday, folks, That's the place to be. Get with me. Just get with the basic members. If you have any questions, send me a note at harmonictrader at gmail. Get on one of our other Facebook groups. That's a sizable group. We've got almost 11,000 people on that one, and that's a good. You go there. It's the official harmonic pattern group. So you know where to reach me. And you guys, if you even leave a message here in the YouTube when it pops up, I'll respond to those. And you guys, I really want to blow your minds away on Wednesday. So again, get with me, and I'm looking forward to next week. Next week is going to be super intensive. If you're a gold member, essentially, we're going to have sessions every day next week and multiple ones on Wednesday that you'll have a whole, you know, course, intensive week long course with our gold member sessions and HPC2 on Wednesday. I look forward to it. That's great. Thanks, everybody. We'll catch you next week. Otherwise, have a great one and go get them.